much, Mr. Chairman. We're here today because Republicans are demagoguing and exploiting the xenophobic and white supremacist ideologies that are fueling the immigration debate in this nation. And for those who are showing up at our border, I am concerned about how we as a nation are going to address what is basically a broken immigration system. People don't choose to leave their families and communities, their culture, their language on a whim.
Yeah. It's wild how much the hive mind controls these people, isn't it? Just xenophobic, white supremacists. They can't help themselves. They're just robots. They go up, they get programmed, and they take that programming out to the world. Joining me now, Brittany Mayer, independent reporter. She's also the founder of Rooted Wings. Brittany, they love to say this. We have a, quote, broken immigration system, but it is wild how different they interpret that than how we interpret that.
This is true. I watched the entire hearing. It was painful. I think a lot of people don't realize how broken our government is, if we're being honest. Our government is so busted that they can't even get through what was supposed to be a subcommittee hearing on this huge unprecedented influx of Chinese nationals pouring through our border. I'm stationed down here in San Diego, so we see it firsthand. And this subcommittee hearing, which was supposed to be serious, turned into a food fight over just word salads. You heard the representative there talking about this being xenophobia and racist and white nationalism. And that's honestly how the subcommittee hearing ended. It ended right after she threw out those slurs. They just couldn't get it together to actually have a conversation about this dire threat that is facing the everyday American, which is unfortunate, but it shows that our government is broken. No wonder our border is broken under Joe Biden. We're not a serious nation. We're not serious when this is a subcommittee hearing and this is how it devolves and ends.
It's so true. It's like that stupid cat fight they had the other day, arguing about bodies and eyelashes. It just makes me want to bash my head off the desk. Okay.
I know.
Brittany, by the way, you said you're stationed there. Are you in the Marines or something?
No, this is my beat. So San Diego is where I'm at, and I'm boots on the ground with just watching what's going on at our border. I've personally been to the border. I've been to the drop sites where they are dropping these military-aged men by the busloads, no pun intended. It is incredibly concerning what I am seeing firsthand, what citizen journalists are picking up firsthand and seeing. The picture that you're seeing right now, the video, is the selfie effect, where these guys get through our border and, these ragged, desperate men then turn around and take selfies to send back home to show how weak America is.
There's just something inherently weak about a dude taking selfies anyway, but we won't get into that. Brittany, can you explain to us, those of us who aren't actually on the border, what do you mean by being dropped there? What's happening? We can't see it. What's happening?
That's such a good question. And it's super important because people will push back and say, oh, it's just San Diego. You voted for it in California. And I'm here to tell you, it is not staying in San Diego. It's not staying in California. Our best data shows that about 90% of the people that get through, these illegal foreigners, they bus out, they ship out, they get onto the San Diego International Airport. And I have videos upon videos where you can see them getting into lines at the San Diego International Airport with no ID. And they're basically given concierge service to the destination of their choice. So they're not staying in San Diego. The problem is California has, since 2018, had a policy in effect that makes us a sanctuary state, which means that wherever you're from, as soon as you make it across the border, you are scot-free. You are incredibly protected. And I can go more into that with you later or when you have me back on. But just what I have uncovered and how difficult it is for a journalist to even be able to find out if these criminals who are committing abhorrent crimes in San Diego are illegal or not. It's virtually impossible because they are so protected. So the sanctuary state policy in California allows these guys to come over, and then they basically become ghost illegal foreigners where we have no way to track them or trace them or know where they're going or who they really are. I witnessed these drops at the Iris Center in San Diego where they get through the border. So you have 1,000 that get through the border, and then we have Border Patrol in these big buses come and pick them up, and they're street released. They're dropped. And there is no police presence. There's no law enforcement activity. So you have thousands of predominantly military-aged men being dropped by the busload into our San Diego street, and then they head to the airport. There are unofficial taxi shuttle services that are operated by Chinese nationals that are waiting for them to take them wherever they might go. And this is happening on a daily basis. And again, they're not staying in California. They're headed to a neighborhood near you.
Now, I don't want to do this later. I want you to tell me now. Tell me more about this sanctuary state stuff, because those of us who don't live in California don't really understand how bad it is. Please explain.
It's so bad, Jesse. So I'm just going to give you a snapshot of how concerning this policy is. So a few weeks ago, it made national headlines that there was an incident where a 22-year-old Mexican man was in an area where we have our military, and he broke into a home and he sexually assaulted a 5-year-old girl. He disappeared. And then the following day, there was bulos out for his arrest. We couldn't find him. He came back again with what looks like it was intent to continue the assault, and he was arrested on the street. I FOIA'd the San Diego Police Department twice with his name and with his date of birth to try to find proof that he is not an American citizen. He showed up in court at age 22 with a Spanish translator and pled not guilty. The word on the street is that he's a gotaway from Guatemala. I cannot prove it because San Diego police now twice has denied my FOIA request because that's protected information, because we live in a sanctuary state. So here's the problem. If I, as an investigative journalist, cannot prove that this guy who committed this crime, which by all accounts, he looks to be illegal, I cannot prove that, then how are we statistically counting the crimes that are occurring in California as being American or imported criminals that we're bringing in through our border? It's a huge, huge problem.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Okay, I want to do a Jen Psaki, and I want to circle back to something you said about the Chinese nationalists operating. What?
Yeah, so when you show up to the Iris drop site, which is a public transit center, first of all, it takes a lot to get me feeling uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable at the Iris Transit Center. So you have thousands of illegal foreigners being bussed in, shuttled in, and then dropped on the street. They hang out, they're military-aged men. NGO operatives come and charge their cell phones, give them water, take them to the Ramada Inn or to the San Diego International Airport. But then there is a large constituency of Chinese men who wait for other unofficial Chinese men who act as a taxi service to come and pick up only Chinese nationals. And because we are a sanctuary state, we have no idea where they are taking them or why there's this collaborative effort, but that's what's happening.